Good morning and welcome to Let's Talk Real Estate, presented by the Cisneros Realty Group at Keller Williams, servicing the New Hampshire Lakes and White Mountains regions. Today's show is sponsored by Blue Water Mortgage, Summit Title, and Allstate Insurance, the Joe Suazo office in Derry, New Hampshire. Time to join our host and Let's Talk Real Estate on 101.5 WEEI Sports Radio, Lakes Region.
And good morning. My name is Karina Cisneros, realtor with Keller Williams Lakes and Mountain Realty in Meredith, New Hampshire. Our show focuses on all aspects of real estate, and in the next 30 minutes, we will give you important information that will help you with either buying or selling your home. Today, I am joined by Jamie Irving. He is permit coordinator with Watermark Marine Construction. He also has a master's in environmental sciences. Welcome, Jamie, to the show.
Thank you very much.
Okay. We have Jamie here because he's an expert in permitting for docks and everything to do with lakes and construction. And I have a couple of very important questions that I need to ask him as a realtor. But before we go into those details, tell me briefly, what is Watermark? What do they do?
Sure. Watermark Marine Construction has been in service since 1990. Our main focus is marine construction, obviously. But underneath the umbrella of Watermark is there are three other companies. So that's Watermark Marine Construction. There is Watermark Marine Supply, which is your rafts, your T-shirts, and every other boating accessory that you might want. The other company is Clearwater Construction, residential home builders, and then the last company is Central NH Divers, and so we're a full-service scuba company, all in the same location on Union Avenue.
Okay, phenomenal. Okay, so you've been established for almost 30 years.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Okay. Us realtors always have buyers and sellers on the water, especially in the Lakes region. And whenever I have a question that I need to find an answer for my buyer client, Jamie's my first call. All right. So, Jamie, when considering buying a lakefront property, what should potential buyers consider regarding docks, beaches, or boathouses?
That's a great question. Really, from any seller's point of view or buyer's point of view, what they really want to be focused on is the history of whatever that is, whether it's a dock, a boathouse, a beach. There are two ways that any of those structures can be referenced historically, and that's either through a permitting history through the Department of Environmental Services, or it can be considered as grandfathered. So either one of those things would suffice for our purposes going for further in either reconstruction or additions, modifications, reconfigurations, things like that.
Okay, thanks for listening this morning. This is Let's Talk Real Estate on WEEI 101.5 Sports Radio Lakes Region, and my name is Karina. We're here with Jamie Irving from Watermark. Okay, Jamie, what's involved with permitting? Is it complicated?
To most people, absolutely, yes.
It's terrifying.
It can be. It can be very intimidating.
Because it could be the factor in the value of a property. Because
Absolutely.
if it doesn't have the right permitting and you can't have a dock or a slip or whatever, then the value of that property can suffer.
Absolutely could.
So tell us, what's involved in permitting and is it complicated?
So basically, in a nutshell, every structure that you do on the shoreline, again, whether it's a dock, boathouse, beach, breakwater, requires some sort of permit. There are a couple different categories. We shouldn't go too much into that because there's a lot of detail involved. But basically, it requires applying to the state. It takes time. So what's one of our main recommendations to anybody is you start early. That way you can get a good jump on it.
So do you do permitting for clients so they don't do it themselves?
Precisely. Yeah, we're a full turnkey business. Yeah.
Full turnkey business. Okay. All right. So what services, when you say turnkey, so what services can Watermark Marine Construction, the construction part of your business, help with for property owners that have waterfront?
So when someone purchases a waterfront property, they can call us. We'll do a free site visit. We'll do a free consult.
You do it before the purchase. Sometimes.
Preferably not. It's always best when we're applying in the owner's name.
Oh, I see. But in the case where I have a buyer that we need some information or help, we can still call you, right?
You could call us, absolutely, and we could tell you what would be permissible on that property, given the frontage, given the exposure, so on and so forth.
Okay, so tell me a little bit more about the services.
So, so basically what we would do is we can arrange for a time to meet on site with the owner, or we can go without. But basically what we're looking at is how much frontage there is, what the exposure to the open water is, and then we'll help that owner design the best use and the best structures for that property to take full advantage of the waterfront.
Okay, here's a silly question, but like perhaps me, some at least me anyway. What is the difference between a dock and a slip?
So 99% of the time, all slips are adjacent to a dock. They're not one and the same. But with, for example, a single dock, you're allowed 2 boat slips. There's going to be one on either side. And then based on the frontage you can have more docks, more slips.
Okay, it's time to take a break and hear from our sponsors. And remember, the video and podcasts of all our shows are available on letstalkrealestatenh.podbean.com. Thank you for listening this morning. We'll be right back with more Let's Talk Real Estate after this on 101.5 WEEI Sports Radio Lakes Region.
Buying and selling real estate is hard, but it doesn't have to be when you partner with an agent that has a proven track record of success. The Cisneros Realty Group at Keller Williams Lakes and Mountains Realty in Meredith helps you fulfill your homeownership dreams through a caring and trusting relationship. They provide exceptional service and advocate for your best interests. The Cisneros Realty Group is your trusted real estate advisor, creating a long-standing relationship now and in the future.
Hi, this is Karina Cisneros from Keller Williams Lakes and Mountain Realty in Meredith. For many years, clients have been putting their trust in me and my full service team. We dedicate ourselves to getting you the most for your home. Remember my name, Karina, like the song, Karina, Karina.
Turbocharge the sale of your home with the professionals at the Cisneros Realty Group, part of Keller Williams Lakes and Mountains, 66 Route 25, Meredith, New Hampshire. Experience and integrity you can trust. The Cisneros Realty Group, online at nhlakeshomes.com.
Put your trust in Blue Water Mortgage when you purchase your new home. Jonathan Ferrante works hard for you with premium service and integrity. Jonathan provides competitive rates and great loan programs to fit your needs. Purchasing, renovating, or refinancing, Jonathan can expertly guide you through the maze of options to find you the right mortgage for you. Blue Water Mortgage, your dedicated mortgage broker. NMLS number 1291. Jonathan Ferrante, NMLS number 1694126. Contact Jonathan directly at 813-267-4369.
This is Let's Talk Real Estate with Karina Cisneros on 101.5 WEEI Sports Radio Lakes Region. Once again, here's Karina.
Good morning. This is Karina Cisneros, and we're back with Jamie Irving of Watermark Marine Construction. Okay, Jamie, as a realtor, I represent buyers and sellers of waterfront property all the time. What should a buyer or seller be thinking about when they're either about to sell or buy?
That's a great question. There is no need to be nervous, though. One of the things that both sellers and buyers should be aware of is what the permit history is of their dock. There's an easy way to look into that. So Department of Environmental Services actually provides what's called the permit query. And so you can go onto this website, type in the town and the current owner's name, and that will spit out or generate any permit history that property has for any dock, boathouse, or beach, and something like that. And there's no real worry about doing that.
So let's say a seller has a waterfront property. They've owned it for years. In their mind, everything's great. Everything's permitted. But
due diligence in that case is to hear what they have to say, see if they have any records. If they don't, then you go into that permit query at the Department of Environmental Services and you look, and if they sold out in the recent years, look at the previous owner. And you can actually trace those records all the way back, basically into the 70s and 80s.
So what happens if a dock wasn't permitted for some reason, no malice, just whatever,
right.
and then we discover through the process of discovery, through the pre-purchase inspection or the purchase process, that it's not. Now, what happens? What's the recourse?
If that dock's not permitted and it wasn't old enough to be considered grandfathered, so there is no history available, and it was built in a configuration or dimensions that aren't allowed, well, then you're in kind of a pickle there. Because, say, for example, it's a permanent dock and it needs to be rebuilt, but it needs a permit to be rebuilt.
Wait.
You're kind of stuck.
As a realtor, we don't like the word pickle.
Okay. You're in a jam.
We don't like that word either. We don't want to be in a jam. We want to help our clients
absolutely
do what's in their best interest.
You can almost always do something, but if there is no permit history and there's no grandfather history and that dock was built to dimensions that are not allowed, then you might have to think about other alternatives. So a different type of dock, perhaps. Or different dimensions.
So let's say Watermark gets involved. They discover meaning the buyer seller, due diligence, there's a permit issue. You most likely will have a way to solve it, probably.
We'll almost always have a way to solve the problem. It might not look exactly, the solution might not be exactly what's there now or there currently. We might have to think outside the box.
Give us an example of one of those situations that was just terrible and
it has happened.
And how to avoid it.
Yeah, it has happened, and it all goes back to due diligence. We had a customer that actually bought a dock, and the dock was a permanent dock. It was not grandfathered, not permitted, and exactly that. It got hit by ice, needed to be repaired, but we couldn't repair that dock without a permit. So now if we apply for that permit, the DES is going to actually say you need to remove it. So that's what you want to avoid.
Okay. We are here with Jamie Irving from Watermark. It's time to take a break and hear from our sponsors. And remember, the video and podcast of all our shows are available on letstalkrealestatenh.podbean.com. Thank you for listening this morning. We'll be right back with more Let's Talk Real Estate after this on 101.5 WEEI Sports Radio Lakes Region.
When you purchase or refinance your home, you have a choice in who takes care of your title, deed work, and the closing. Summit Title has earned a reputation for accuracy, dependability, timeliness, and flexibility. They work with you on your timetable to ensure a smooth closing regardless of the complexities that may be involved. When your loan officer or real estate professional asks you who you want to use for your closing, tell them you want Summit Title. You have a choice. Learn more at stscorp.com. Summit Title Services, your closing resource in New Hampshire, Maine, and Massachusetts.
Let's face it, shopping for insurance can be time-consuming. That's why when it comes to your auto, home, and life insurance needs, make things simple and trust the experts at Allstate. This will help you get the coverage that fits your needs while helping you bundle your life, home, and auto policies. Bundling saves money, sure, but it also saves you time, so you can enjoy the things that matter most even more. Contact Derry Allstate agent Joe Suazo today for a free personalized insurance proposal. Allstate, are you in good hands? Life insurance offered through Allstate Life Insurance Company and Allstate Assurance Company, Northbrook, Illinois, and American Heritage Life Insurance Company, Jacksonville, Florida.
This is Let's Talk Real Estate with Karina Cisneros on 101.5 WEEI Sports Radio Lakes Region. Once again, here's Karina.
Hi, and we're back. This is Karina Cisneros. In our previous segment, we had Jamie Irving from Watermark Marine Construction. If you have any questions about permitting, you can reach Jamie at 603-293-4000 or through their website at watermarkmarine.com. And now, in the studio, one of my favorite guests of all time, we have Debbie Lurvey. She is business development for Summit Title. Welcome, Debbie.
Thank you, Karina. It's good to be here.
It's my honor to have you on the show. What is Summit Title?
Summit Title is a title company with our main office in Bedford, and I work out of the Guilford office.
Okay, and why do we even need a company like Summit Title involved in our real estate transactions, or the buyer and the seller? Why do you exist?
We exist to make the transaction as smooth and seamless as possible and to ensure that the buyer is getting clear title. It's very important when deeds are transferred that there are no liens. It is conveyed from the people who actually own the property to the buyers the way they want to take title.
So before there was ever a title company, how was this done?
It was handled by attorneys, and then title companies came around. The first title company I worked for was 25 years ago. So title companies have been around for quite a long time, but before that it was attorneys.
Okay, so as a realtor, I have a buyer, and we go under agreement. I represent them as a buyer. So what are you going to do for that buyer?
What we're going to do is, first off, we're going to introduce ourselves to all parties, and our abstractors will search the title to make sure that first, the people who are selling the property are the appropriate parties. We also make sure that there are no mortgages, liens, any parties who have made a claim against the property.
And what percent of the time do you find something?
It happens more often than most people think that there are.
And what's the most common thing that you find?
The most common thing is improperly discharged mortgages. That happens so often, or missing discharges. Back in the 80s, banks were sending the discharges directly to the consumer, and they did not know what to do with them, so they never got recorded.
Okay, thanks for listening this morning. This is Let's Talk Real Estate on WEEI 101.5 Sports Radio Lakes Region. And my name is Karina. I'm here with Debbie Lurvey. Okay, Debbie. So you do the title search.
Mm-hmm.
So what's this word about, there's a cloud on the title? What does that even mean?
Well, there are many things, again, that could cause a flaw in the title. Perhaps someone didn't release all of their title to the property, or heirs were not notified. So it's just a flaw that needs to be corrected.
And this is, I think, a great segue. So how do you protect yourself when something like that can happen? Is that where title insurance comes into play?
Owner's title insurance, in my opinion, is the most important thing that you can purchase when buying a home.
And how much does that cost, approximately?
Approximately, it used to be a dollar figure, but if you planned on $3 per thousand, that would give you a good ballpark. I will tell you that it is less than calling somebody to handle clearing that title issue for you.
Okay, so you have title insurance. So give us an example of something that could come up where the title insurance will take care of it.
The most common thing that I find are unpaid taxes. We always call to make sure that taxes are paid, but everybody has a bad day. And if the tax collector tells us they're paid and they're really not, that could become a lien that could come back on your title insurance. Invalid IDs, or people who are not of sound mind executing documents, that could also be a claim.
So these are liens that run with the land.
Correct.
Not with the owner.
Correct.
So if there is something that is a lien that we did not know about, the title insurance says, hey, buy this title insurance. If we find something comes up in the future while you own it, we'll take care of it on our dime. Is that how it works?
Right. There are a lot of things that are covered with the title insurance. So yes, if it's a covered item, it would be taken care of.
Okay, so you've done these services. Prior to closing, you also do what's called a closing disclosure. What is that?
Closing disclosure is required by lenders for, it's just a disclosure of all of the closing costs in terms of the loan that they are getting with their lender.
Okay. We have to go to break, and we'll be right back. This is Karina Cisneros. All right, I got to do that again.
I'd say so.
It's we're going to commercials, right?
Yep.
Okay. It's time to take a break now and hear from our sponsors. And remember, the video and podcast of all of our shows are available on letstalkrealestatenh.podbean.com. Thank you for listening this morning. We'll be right back with more Let's Talk Real Estate after this on 101.5 WEEI Sports Radio Lakes Region. And welcome back. This is Karina Cisneros. I'm here with Debbie Lurvey from Summit Title. Debbie, you and I, just last year, I think we did about 48 transactions together.
We did. Yes, we did. Thank you.
And it's always a delight
It was great.
to have you involved because I know that all my clients are taken care of, looked after, and if anything comes up, we are a team and we fix it.
That is absolutely correct. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. All right. So we got to the point where now we're clear to close.
Mm-hmm.
What does clear to close mean to you?
Clear to close means it's time to get the closing scheduled, make sure all parties, buyers, sellers, agents can all agree on a time and a location. And really, it's the happiest day of the whole transaction.
So clear to close is every piece of paper, everything's been approved by the bank, everything's been looked at, we're good to go.
Good to go, yes.
So that's when I call, hey, we're good to close, or you call, we're good to close.
Yep.
We schedule it. And that's, of course, an amazingly emotional day for everybody.
It really is. And it's funny because buyers are so excited to close on their homes. And you have to temper that sometimes with the sellers because it's an emotional day for them, too, because they're letting go of memories that they've had. So it's kind of filled with lots of emotion.
Yeah, it's I can imagine.
Yeah.
I've been in many. And sometimes it's heart-wrenching. But it's a day for celebration because
It
after
is.
all, the seller wanted to sell, the buyer wanted to buy, and that marks the beginning of a new chapter for both.
It does, yes.
Okay. To prevent things from going wrong in closing, because sometimes,
Sometimes they do, yes.
okay, what are some of the things that buyers and seller must be aware of when they get to the closing table to avoid any hiccups?
The biggest thing, and I have actually run into this twice in the past month, IDs. You need to have a picture ID with your actual real name on it, not a nickname, which we just recently happened, and make sure that they are not expired. People forget that their birthdays have just happened and didn't realize they needed to get their driver's license renewed. And
So if it's expired, you can't use it?
you really, especially when working with lenders, they require, and we require a valid ID. It's required for title insurance. And it's also important that the buyers know that when we say a bank check and we try to clarify it to make sure they know it's a cashier's check, it cannot be a personal check.
Okay, going back to the valid ID, does the name on the documentation to close have to be the exact same spelling initial as in the valid ID?
The initial doesn't matter so much. I have had somebody who had a different last name, but they had just got married, so they brought their marriage certificate with them. So, I mean, it needs to be their name as they are now.
Anything else that could go wrong that sometimes happens that can be avoidable? Oh, I got one.
Okay.
So we are the day of closing. Let's say it's going to be at noon. We do the walkthrough about an hour before, and the buyer and the buyer's agent notice that there is something that has not been done that was agreed on, or something's wrong. Wow.
That has happened, and it can create a lot of turmoil at the closing table because buyers expect for those things to have been completed. And a lot of times the seller doesn't do it intentionally. They just, with so much going on, they may forget.
Have you had closings actually like completely stop until that's been fixed, or is there some kind of agreement that they reach at the table?
Usually it has. I haven't had one that has completely stopped because of that. Great agents like yourself find a way to get it worked out so closing can happen.
Okay. We're with Debbie Lurvey of Summit Title. Debbie has been working in the title industry for over 25 years.
Yes. Yep.
How many closings, Debbie, have you done, do you think?
Oh my gosh. I would say thousands. An exact number, I don't know. I've tried to do the calculations, but I've been at a lot of closing.
Thank you, Debbie, for joining us. Would you come back if we need you again?
I would love to come back.
Thank you for
Thank
that.
you.
So join me and my team next Saturday morning at 8:30 for another episode of Let's Talk Real Estate. And if you or someone you know is looking to purchase a new home or sell, please contact me and my team at Cisneros Realty Group, located at 66 Route 25, Meredith, New Hampshire. Direct is 603-273-6160. Office is 603-569-HOME. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or on our website at nhlakeshomes.com. If you missed today's show, no worries. The video and podcasts are available on letstalkrealestatenh.podbean.com. And remember, mi casa es su casa. And my name is Karina, like the song, Karina, Karina. Until next time, play my song.
Karina, Karina.
Let's Talk Real Estate is presented by the Cisneros Realty Group and sponsored by Blue Water Mortgage, Summit Title, and Allstate Insurance, the Joe Suazo office in Derry, New Hampshire. Let's Talk Real Estate is a production of Modern Media LLC, CRG TV, and MR Strategic Alliance LLC, all rights reserved. Join us every Saturday morning at 8:30 and Let's Talk Real Estate with Karina Cisneros, Realtor, on WEEI 101.5 Sports Radio Lakes Region.